Hello students, today's topic is while loop in C. We will discuss what is a loop and what is a while loop, its syntax, flowchart and program using while loop. So while we require loop, sometime we want some piece of a code or a block of code to be executed several times. In that case, we use loop. So loops are used when we want to execute a part of the program or a block of statements several times. When we want to execute a part of a program or block of statements several times. It iterates or repeats number of statements until a particular condition remains true. So until the condition of the loop remains true, it iterates and it executes the block of the statement. So loop always have three steps. Every loop has three steps: initialization of the loop index value, testing of the condition of the execution, termination of the loop, and increment or decrement of loop index value. First, we have to initialize the variable, then we have to test the condition, check the condition whether the condition is true or false. If condition is true, then only the loop will be executed, and if the condition is false, the loop will not be executed. And then increment or decrement of the index. Then we have to increase or decrease the index value, the value we have initialized here. So we have to increase or decrease that value. So what is a flow chart of a loop? Initialization, first we have to initialize the index value, then condition. We have to check whether the condition is true or false. If condition is false, then the loop will not be executed, and control will go outside the loop. If condition is true, then the statements of the loop, and then increment or decrement. And again, it will again check the condition of the loop, and if the condition loop is true, then only these will be executed. Otherwise, if the condition is false, then the control will go outside the loop. So until the condition is true, that this loop will goes on executing again and again. And if this condition becomes false, the control goes out of this condition, this loop. So now we will discuss while loop. So general form of the while loop is while conditional statements. While and condition. If this condition is true, then these statements will be executed, and if the condition is false, then the statement will not be executed. The condition provides an entry point. If the condition initially evaluates to true, the statements or compound statement executes. So if the condition is true, then the statement will be executed. After execution of the statement, the condition is again tested. If the again evaluation is true, then statements are repeated again. The statements are repeated until the condition is no longer true. So mm, the statements will be executed until the conditions are true, and when the condition becomes false, the statement will not be executed. So some logical and mechanism is required by programming in order to change the condition. So we have to change the condition at a particular time. If this condition remains true forever, then this loop will goes on executing infinite number of times. We will say that this is an infinite loop. So at a particular time, this condition should become false, and the this loop should be terminated. So flowchart of the loop of the while loop. Test expression. First we have to test the expression, then body of the loop. The body of the loop will be executed. Then again test expression, and in this body of loop the statements will be executed, and the increment or decrement operator will be increment or decrement of the loop will be done. And again the test expression, the condition will be tested. If condition is true, then the body of the loop will be executed, and if the condition is false, then the control will goes out of the loop. So until this expression is true, this loop goes on executing again and again, and when this expression becomes false, the control goes out of the loop this way. So there are two types of while loops: counter control while loop and centric control while loop. So we have two types of while loop: one is counter control and the other is centric control. So we will discuss these two types of while loops one by one. In counter control while loop, we know in advance that how many times the loop will be executed. So in counter control while loop, it is known in advance that how many times a loop will be iterated. For example, we have initialized I with 0, and we will mm, we have put a condition here when until I is less than equal to 10, this value of I will be printed and I will be incremented. So first I is 0. So we know this loop will iterate 11 number of times from 0 to 10. 0, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10. So first value is I is 0. This condition true. This value of I is printed, and then I will be incremented. So value of I becomes 1. Again 1 is less than equal to 10. Then this 1 got printed. Then 2, and so on. And at last, when the value of I becomes 10, it's again true because 10 is less than equal to or equal to 10. So 10 is equal to 10. The value of 10 is printed. Then the value of I is incremented. It becomes 11. When the value of I becomes 11, this condition becomes false, and this control will go outside this loop. So we know in advance that this loop will goes and executing, and it will execute 11 number of times. So in center controlled while loop, we don't know in advance that how many times the loop will be executed. For example, we have taken a character ch and initialize it with value y. So until ch equal to capital Y or small y, the statements of the loop. So if you want to again execute the loop, you have to press y to continue. So you have to press y. If you press y, the get ch will capture the value of y and put in ch. So if you pressed y, then this either you have pressed either capital Y or small y. So either of this condition is true, either ch equal to capital Y or small y, then again this loop will be executed, and then you have again to press. If you want to continue, you have to press y, otherwise you will press some other key. So if you have pressed some other key, that other key will get ch will catch that other key and it will assign that to ch. So this condition become false. So control will go outside. So in this case, we don't know in advance that how many times this loop will be executed, because it depends upon the person who is running the program, then whether he presses y or not. This is center control y. So we have some examples, some program. For example, program one is I have included two header files, standard input.h and console input.h. So I have initialized an integer variable I with value 1. So again, while I is less than, so value 1 is less than equal to 10. So 10 got printed here, and value of I becomes sorry, 1 got printed here because 1 is less than 1 got printed here, and value of I becomes 2. So again 2 is less than 10, 2 got printed and value of I becomes 3, 3 is less than 10, less than equal to 10, and 4 and 5 and 6 and 7 and 8 and 9 and 10. 10 got printed, then I incremented, I becomes 11. So 11 is, whether 11 is less than equal to 10, no, its condition becomes false, so it will go outside the loop and print as new line and get ch. So this will the output of this program. Again another program, here I have initialized a variable k with value 10. So until k is greater than equal to 1, this will the body of the loop, this loop will be executed. So here k value of k is 10, 10 is greater than equal to 1. So value of k 10 got printed. So now k value of k becomes 9, 9 is greater than equal to 1, 9 got printed. The value of k becomes 8, 8 is greater than equal to 1, 8 is greater than equal to 1. So 8 got printed. Now value of k becomes 7, and so on. Finally, value of k becomes 1. 1 is greater than equal to 1. Yes, condition is true. 1 got printed. 1 got printed. And k is k 1 minus 1 means k become value of k becomes 0. So whether 0 is greater than equal to 1, so condition becomes false. It will go outside this bracket, this loop. So new line. So 10, 9, 8, 7, 6, 5, 4, 3, 2, 1 got printed using this loop, using this program. Let's take another program. So here we have to find the factorial of a number. You know a factorial, what is a factorial? For example, factorial of 5 is 5 into 4 into 3 into 2 into 1, that is 120. So here I have taken an integer variable n and num in a long variable fact, because factorial of a number will always be large. So enter the number you want to of which you want to calculate the factorial. So I have initialized that and value of n to num. So if value of n is less than 0, so we know we don't have factorial of negative number, so no factorial of negative number, if this will be printed. Else if n equal to 0, if value of n is 0, so we know that the factorial of 0 is always 1, so factorial of 0 equal to 1. Else if we have value more than 0, then until the value of n is greater than 1, do this. What we have to do? Fact equal to fact into n. So fact equal to fact into n. For example, uh, and then n minus minus, and the value of factorial will be printed here. So for example, let's execute this program. So for example, first I have entered 5. Enter the number, I have entered 5. So 5 is not less than 0, this will be false. 5 is not equal to 0, this will be again false, so it will go to else part. So 5 is greater than 1, so fact equal to fact into n. So fact equal to value of fact is 1, so fact equal to 1 into 5. So 5, and value of n becomes 4. N minus minus means value of n becomes 4. So 4 is greater than 1, so fact equal to fact into n. So value of fact is 5. 5 into 4, it becomes 20. So no value of n becomes 3. 3 is greater than 1. So fact equal to fact into n. So value of fact uh, becomes 20 into 20 into 3, 60. So no value of m becomes 2. So 2 is greater than 1. So fact into 1. So 60 into 2 is 120. Value of n becomes 1. 1 is not greater than 1. So its value becomes 120, and control will go outside this while loop, and here it got printed factorial of 5 is 120. LD for long integer. So for example, sometime we have to calculate factorial of 20, so it will be very large numbers. That's why LD is long. uh, Format specifier is LD. So and get CI. So value of factorial is 5 got printed here. So again, for example, again we execute this program when we enter 0. For enter the number, and we have entered 0, so this condition false, but this condition becomes true. So factorial of 0 equal to 1 got printed. Factorial of 0 equal to 1 got printed. Again, when we again execute the program, and for example we enter minus 5, so this condition becomes true, and no factorial of negative number got printed. No factorial of negative number got printed. So this is how we can calculate the factorial of a number using while loop. So let's have another program. For example, we have to convert a binary number into decimal number. A binary number into a decimal number. So I have taken some integer variable n and say remainder d j. J is initialized by 1, and decimal is 0. So enter the number in binary. So you have to enter the number in, for example, you have entered this 1101. So first assign this value to n save. So I have assigned the value of n, and value of n is 1101 to n save. So while value of n is greater than 0, yes, this value of n is greater than 0. So remainder becomes n into n mod 10. So remainder will become 1. Remainder will become 1. So value of d becomes remainder into j. I have explained it here. Here n is this, which is greater than 0. So remainder becomes 1, and d becomes 1 into 1 means 1, and d decimal becomes decimal into plus d. 0 plus 1 is 1, and j becomes j into 2 is 2, and n becomes n divided by 10. That because it is integer, so it's 110. This is first iteration. This is first iteration. So again 110, which is greater than 0. So iteration 2. So here remainder becomes 0, d becomes 0, decimal becomes 1, and j becomes 2 into 2 4, and n becomes 1 1. N becomes 1 1. Here I have n becomes 1 1. So again 1 1 is greater than 0. 1 1 is greater than 0. So in iteration 3, remainder becomes 1, and d becomes 4, and decimal becomes 5, and j becomes 8, and n becomes 1. So again 1, which is greater than 0. So in iteration 4, remainder becomes 1, and d becomes 8, decimal becomes 13, and j becomes 8 into 2 16. Now n becomes 0. So value of n is 0, which is not greater than 0. So this condition becomes false. So the control comes out of the loop. So now the value of n is not greater than 0, so control comes out of the loop. So binary number of d, what is the value of percent? What is the value of n save? Value of n save was the n was 1101. Well, binary number 1101 is equal to decimal number dec. So what is the value of dec? we have found, value of DEC we have found is 13. So 13. So value binary number 1101 and its equivalent decimal number is 13. This is how we can convert a binary number to decimal number using while loop. So here I have explained the iteration wise the values of the variables. Iteration wise the final value is, because value of n is 0 and no which is not greater than 0, so the final value is DC decimal value, that is 13. So this is what I have today, the loop and while loop, types of while loop, flowchart and programs using while loop. Thank you.